Well, hello everybody. I'm Brian, the Peerless Gamer, and this is my continuing campaign in the Iron Sworn Starforged galaxy. So I'm doing this live, which is something I haven't done before. I wouldn't say I'm no stranger to streaming content, online. I have other systems, other systems. I have other things that I do that are not gaming related. So a little bit of trepidation here because it's a different audience and a different way of doing things. Normally I'm on Twitch and then simulcasting this to YouTube. So I am back from, work trip. So I am looking forward to getting back into the game. I had many, I would say a couple of weeks to kind of mull over where we hopefully will end up going with the game, depending on the dice rolls. So if this is the first time you're watching this, welcome. I'll give you a little recap of what's been going on to date. And if you are one of the few subscribers, thank you for subscribing, one, and for two, hope you will join, and I will look at the chat, but I won't necessarily be able to answer the chat all the time. I'm trying not to derail this because I would like to get a couple of hours of play in while the light is good and while I have the opportunity. So so quick recap for those who are wondering what's going on. And let me think. Okay, so this is, one second. Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure that the audio was working so you got to hear the previous 3 minutes of stuff. It has been a few weeks since I've streamed anything, so I wanted to make sure I got everything correct. So this is my play screen that I use to play. I have a dice roller here that I use that's based on the Unity gaming engine. You click roll and you can actually select the different kinds of dice. So if you've watched any of the VODs previously, you've seen how I've set this up, where I have one 6-sided die and two 10-sided dies, which work great. And then you can roll based on those things, and they give you, give you your answer. So, in this case, if I rolled versus heart, then I'm actually doing pretty good. So that's what we'll use up here for that. I have the Iron Sworn Starforged books that are available for purchase, but you can also get some of the other items on Iron Sworn's website. As you can see, it's ironswornrpg.org. So you can go there and get all the information you need and want for playing the Iron Sworn Starforged, RP system. So I also have the play kit here, which will give me tables and things that I need and answers for various actions that I'm doing. So quick recap of what we're doing here. James Atwood is a free trader on Station. So he lives on Helia Station, and he has been asked by his boss to deliver some cargo to Neoma Station, which is a research station that is orbiting a black hole. And on the way to the station, nothing bad happens, but he gets to the station and there has been a murder. And so the captain, James's captain, who is somewhat of a non-factor in this story, he's on Helia Station, and James kind of is his first mate. The engineer is Slick, who is handles repairs of the ship and what have you, has been asked to help investigate by the local constabulary or the local corporate law enforcement that exists on Neoma Station. They're overtaxed, undermanned, that kind of thing. Also, because they have a connection to somebody who has a connection to Dr. Manand, who is the person who was killed, James, through a series of lucky rolls, was asked to assist in the investigation, with the idea that at some point, he's contacted his boss to ask him what his relationship with Dr. Manand was, and has not received a notification back from his boss. Should be noted as well that James has purchased the Wild Deliverance, which is the ship that James and them are on right now, and it's James's ship for all intents and purposes. So through another series of scenarios, we met Dr. Ozric, we met Evelyn Voigt, who is the research head of Neoma Station. Dr. Ozric is the lead scientist who worked with Dr. Manand on the lateral sensor array. Dr. Manand was looking for something called sigma ray, which was a particle that was being emitted by the black hole that is what Neoma Station is orbiting. We later find that Dr. Manand and Dr. Ozric did not believe this was a black hole, but this was something else, some other kind of anomaly, because they found a repeating pattern to the sigma ray energy streams coming from the black hole. And they were unable at that time to decipher the message for whatever reason, because the lateral sensor array was taking over, and Dr. Manand was obviously killed, or was in an accident that halted all research at that time. So they found, with the help of Achilles, who is the corporate entity running the station. He kind of represents the corporation Atwell Industries, which is bankrolling Neoma Station, that the black hole is maybe more than what it appears to be, and Dr. Ozric is on his way to a conference, originally to announce the discovery of sigma ray, which, to put it in perspective, was on the same level as the Higgs boson, or the Higgs field that was found by the Large Hadron Collider here back in 2016. Would have, been a as yet unknown particle that had been found in the forge. And so a series of events where, they're trying to leave the station. James has volunteered to take Dr. Ozric to the conference on Jaffa 2, which did not make the local Officer Garcia, Officer Adder, happy, because James was helping with the investigation, but still had a tie to the murder, to the victim. So James is on his way to Jaffa 2 and is going to take Dr. Ozric there. As they were leaving, the ship encountered a problem, which later was found out to be coming from the anomaly that caused a power drain on the systems. Unbeknownst to James and Slick, a ship called the Colossus was in the area. It is a high-tech stealth ship created by Atwell Industries and sent by Achilles to help James and Slick and the station, because they're on the frontier and there's nothing there. So the Colossus took the Wild Deliverance into its hangar bay, and they're on their way to the anchorage point at Helios Station, because there's no anchorage point at Neoma Station to be able to create a jump. So Colossus is right now going that direction, and Dr. Ozric when the attack on the Wild Deliverance happened, or when the energy was directed towards the Wild Deliverance, Dr. Ozric found yet another message, or yet another repeating pattern in the message, and has set to use all available facilities to analyze that stream, adding to it with the older stream. And the last episode we had, there was a bit of a cliffhanger where the message was deciphered, but the big question is we don't know what it says or what it is, what the message is. So that's where we're at right now. All right. So if you've been watching the previous episode, you'll find that I'm playing somewhat loose with this because it's my first time doing solo RP. So we have, as you can see here, the progress that we've made to this point. I have done my utmost, I think, to get to where we need to be on this. We're near the end of being able to figure out who Dr. Manon's killer was. And we'll hopefully figure that out through gameplay, and at that point we'll have another goal or another iron vow to swear to find out something else. So I think where we left James and Ozric, Dr. Ozric, they were in the cockpit, or the cockpit of the Wild Deliverance, which we can go and view the ship here. So in this case, they would be in this area. It's not cramped, but it looks like it would be very cozy for 3 people, or 2 people in this case. And so, the Wild Deliverance has had its power core or main reactor drained. The plasma that was in there that runs the plasma drives has been recharged by the Colossus, to the detriment of the Colossus's energy tanks, and has been repowered. Come to find out, the particle stream that hit the Wild Deliverance corrupted the plasma and did not allow it to have what it takes to power the the systems on the ship. So Dr. Ozric and James are working on deciphering whatever the repeating message was on the from the last attack. And Dr. Ozric is looking at the screen and says, I think I found something. It looks like the message. What is the message? So I think that'll be the first question we ask. What is the message? Is it I would say Dr. Ozric says this is not a message. I think we'll go that route. Dr. Ozric says it looks like a program. It's in the same format as a hologram. So I have paper and pencil down here as well, so I'm trying to keep track. The message is a hologram. So in this case, it's neither positive nor negative, I think, at this point, which I think is a good place to start. And James says, well, I guess there's only one thing we can do, and that would be to activate the program. And Dr. Ozric suggests uploading it to the rest of the ship to be able to use the holographic projectors on the ship to use like James's hologram or AI is doing. So once that's done, James asks the computer to activate the program. And what they see is, what do they see? They see it's a person, because obviously, but it is, okay, so this is where I would be editing madly on the system. Okay, so going to create an image here. This is powered by Doll E3, by the way. So I'm just waiting for image of a man with gray hair. All right, give us a shot here. All right. Okay, so the images of this person right here. Download this. We will download this image. There it is. Pictures for the campaign. Anomaly. All right, so what we see is a picture of this person standing there, and James notes how very similar he looks to James. As a matter of fact, little older, but and no scar on his eye, as we've mentioned about James, but the person is in a nondescript clothing, and appears to be standing there like that. And let's see, it takes a few seconds, but all of a sudden the person, or the AI here on being projected by the ship, starts to speak, and you hear it. Sounds very metallic to begin with, but then it starts okay, testing, and so after about 15 seconds it says, hello, my name is Zinnia, and Zinnia, like the flower, and the AI says, I've been sent to better converse with you, because up until now we have been unable to communicate effectively, and it's only you can treat me as a translator, or be a connection to you can treat me as a connection or translator, if you will, to the to what is going on outside. And Dr. Ozric and James, I'm thinking, are surprised because, you know, up until a couple days ago, this was still a black hole. And so the first thing I think they both want to ask is, you know, well, what are you? And where did you come from? Xenia says, I have been created by the substrate that your Neoma Station has been orbiting. We have only just become aware of your presence in the past 40 cycles. And as I've mentioned before, in space, in the Forge especially, time is relative, right? There's no days, there's no nights. So it would be sleep cycles, or it'd be something, so it'd be 40 cycles of time. So, of course, the substrate may also treat time differently. So, we attempted to contact your station using the only method available to us, but we may have caused an issue on the Neoma Station, which if you recall, we had there was an incident on the station that caused a power outage, and so Xenia continues and says, we've been trying to contact you ever since, and this is the first attempt that we've had that has been more successful than the last. We understand that our actions have caused your species issues, and there has been damage to many of your organisms. And so we are unhappy, if I've been reading your databases correctly, to your species would call it unhappy or sad, I think is how it should be said. These concepts are somewhat abstract to me. We're talking to, and Xenia goes and discusses, and as you're talking, you realize that Xenia was talking to Dr. Manand, and we attempted to contact her when we noticed she was outside the station, but something occurred, and we understand that she is no longer functioning. That makes James and Dr. Ozric take a step back, because so I do want to ask the Oracle a question here. So did James and Ozric understand what that meant? In this case, did Xenia, the thing called Xenia, or the thing that is the thing called Xenia, cause the suit malfunction? Because that's what it sounds like. That's what, they're trying to understand if Xenia contacted Dr. Manon when she was outside the station, did that cause the suit malfunction, or was there something else? So I think what we're going to do is going to gather some more information. We're going to ask the question to Zinnia. Where is the gathering information? Gathering information, page 2. All right. All right, we're going to gather information. We're going to yeah, we're going to ask Zinnia what Zinnia meant by that. If that was a you know, attempting to communicate, what did that mean? What did it take to what were they trying to do to communicate at that time? And so James's wits is a 2. All right, we rolled a 6 with a 2, and so that makes it 8. So we have a strong hit. So we discover something helpful and specific. The path you must follow or action you take to make progress is made clear. Envision what you learn and then take +2 momentum. All right, so in this case we have +2 momentum will pop up there. And so Zinnia says we attempted to send the same energy stream that we had sent before, but in a less broad way, a more focused beam towards Dr. Manand. Our previous beam was sent at too high a level, and we understand that it disrupted your living habitat. So James says, you caused the outage and potentially caused Dr. Manand's suit to malfunction. And I think at that point, yeah, Zinnia is going to say, yes, we understand that our actions have caused Dr. Manand to no longer be functioning. And so James and Dr. Ozric, I would say, they're very, I don't know, would anger be the correct emotion here? It seems like it would be. You know, Dr. Ozric might have an outburst of, what are you doing? You should have, you know, no, would Dr. Ozric have been unhappy? I think he would have been sad. I think, you know, I guess it goes to Dr. Ozric's motive. Would he react negatively to this? And I'm gonna put it right down the middle, so 50-50. So we're just gonna roll this and take the 2 die 10 here. So this will be the 10's digit, this will be the 1's digit. So lower is better, so he'll handle it better if it's lower. So, oh, okay, so he did not take it as well as expected. I think he will probably react with an outburst. I think he would say, you killed Dr. Manand. Can you state your intentions of why you're here? And Zinnia says, we wanted to make our presence known. And James is like, whoa, hang on. Is James going to record this conversation? Because it feels like he needs to do so. Because it will, one, it will clear him of any wrongdoing because this thing is telling them that he, well, I mean, the ship is already recording, right? So I would say James will record, but he needs to go over to the console and make it happen. So I'm going to say he's going to face some danger. And he's going to potentially do this with stealth and trickery. So he's going to roll Shadow. And he's going to attempt to slowly make his way over to the console that would allow him to record everything that's going on in the cockpit, and turn on, maybe turn on the communications to the Colossus. So let's see what he can get off of this. Oops. Okay, so he's going to do Shadow, which is a 2. Oh, crap. Okay, so 6. So he has a weak hit. You succeed, but not without a cost. Make a suffer move. Okay, so suffer -1. Suffer move is... Okay, suffer move. All right, so we're gonna endure harm, endure stress, lose momentum, companion takes a hit, we're gonna sacrifice resources, or we're gonna withstand damage. All right, so I would say we're delayed or disadvantaged. So we're going to suffer -1 momentum for a minor setback, 2 for a serious, or 3 for a major setback. Okay, so we're going to lose a momentum. And so James is making his way, they're chatting, they're trying to get things done. James moves over towards the console. And as he puts his hand on the console, Zinnia looks at him and says, James Atwood, we do not wish this conversation to be recorded. And James says, why not? And vision how this undermines your progress on a vow, expedition, connection, or combat, then clear 1 unit of progress on that track per its rank. Well, this is interesting because all right, so this sets us back at least 2 marks on our finding Dr. Manon's killer. I'm still trying to figure out how different. Oh, okay. I don't have to do that actually because I'm cool. I'm okay with that because I don't have -6 on there. Send it back. Control C, Control B. Okay, so I don't have to do that. Okay. I would say we're actually 1 further. I'd say we're 1 further now because of that. So I'm going to keep this one in reserve because we do know who Dr. Manon's killer is, but so Zinnia says, yeah, I do not wish this to be recorded. We still do not understand your species well enough, and we are too young to defend ourselves effectively without completely vaporizing your species. So James eases his hands away from the console. Sorry, still new at all this first contact stuff. Dr. Ozric looks, and he's also stepped his hands away from any console that is also there. And Zinnia says, "We've come to warn you as we mature, we have come to understand more of this region of space you call the Forge. And we have found, based on our looking through your databanks, that the same thing that happened to your soul system 250 years ago could happen again here. And if you remember correctly, during our truths we created, the reason that the stars in the Milky Way galaxy went away was because of something called a sudden dark matter decay. And it was only by finding the mysterious alien gates that we were able to create our one-way passage to the Forge. So, and so everybody knows the story of why we came to the Forge, that there was a cataclysm happening in the Milky Way galaxy, and we found the probe or the gate that was activated that allowed us to make our way to the Forge, which is roughly 1,700 light years away from the Milky Way galaxy, somewhat north of the galactic. Let's see, where is it? Here we go. So here's the Milky Way galaxy, spiral galaxy. This is a little, 1,700 light years above the galactic plane, and we have a rough idea of the size of the Forge based on ancient records from the Milky Way galaxy. But we have not been able to find our way back to the Milky Way galaxy, and the Milky Way galaxy is very much dimmer because of what we assumed was the dark matter decay. So Ozric says, well, do you know what caused the dark matter decay in our ancient galaxy, or what is the problem? I mean, what can you stop it? Zinnia says, no. Can Zinnia stop it? Can Zinnia telling the truth? I don't know if Zinnia can Zinnia lie? Or maybe the answer is so complex that Zinnia believes that we can't handle it. I'm going to put it down to half and half. Lower being better. So we're going to go ahead and roll again. Okay, so it's an 11. So Zinnia says that they were created by the people who created the Forge, because they saw this happening to their own galaxy, and that the Forge, and you can see So James and Ozric sees Zinnia pausing, attempting to, if James and them had to guess, it feels like Zinnia is trying to put this in terms that they can understand. So Zinnia says that the precursors who created Zinnia, or themselves, saw this coming, and this was one of several safe places to be, to create, and that when the time came, you would come to the Forge, what you know as the Forge. It was inevitable. So James, just, what does James think about that? What does James think about what that means? So James asks, well, how did they know this? I mean, how did they figure this out? And Dr. Ozric says that they must have had, if they created something that looks like, Ozric interrupts and says, well, if they've created something that looks like a black hole, and it's obviously some kind of super intelligence for all intents and purposes, maybe they had control of space and time. And the important question to ask here is not how they figured it out, but where did the precursors go? Zinnia responds, I do not know. They did not tell me. I was not present when they left, or no, they didn't leave. What is it? I was not present when I was not present. I think what Zinnia is trying to say is, by the time he got to the level where he could understand this world or whatever, the precursors were gone. Doesn't know how it happened, doesn't know where they went. They didn't leave any messages. So I guess I want to move this along. So Zinnia and Dr. Ozric and James keep talking, and the basic idea is that Zinnia is able to assist with certain things. There'll be, it feels like Zinnia is able to, work with the scientists. I want to give it but there's restrictions. That's what I want to say. Are there any restrictions or any rules here about what is going on? Because Zinnia has reached a certain level of maturity, but they don't know what their function is. Maybe Zinnia was activated before the precursors could give them their marching orders or their standing orders. Are they, to protect the forge? Are they here to foster goodwill? Are they here to, what are they here for? So, I don't know. It's interesting. I wonder. Activity list. I don't like that. I've never liked looking up things on the fly like that. So let me see. What do we got? So I think during the course of the conversation, Dr. Ozric says, this is amazing. We need to let as many people as possible know what's going on. They need to meet you, Zinnia. Neoma Station will benefit greatly from your expertise, from your knowledge, from your your abilities to do things. And I want to say that Zinnia, is Zinnia okay with that message? I want to say is Zinnia cool with that, right? Is that something that appeals to Zinnia? I would say, okay, so Zinnia is pairing towards yes, they want to help, but Zinnia says that there are people, as I have matured, I have read much about your history and much about the politics and the relationships of people in your in the forge. And Zinnia says that there are people that I do not wish to work with. And James says, I obviously, if there's people you don't want to work with, we're going to have to keep you a secret, because because once you get out, you're going to be, you are the biggest discovery that humanity has had since the Eidolon drive and since we've discovered Sigma Ray. Zinnia says, I want to say that what is I almost feel like I need a character sheet now for Zinnia, but what I want is adventure moves. I will have James ask a pointed question and say, who is it in particular? Do you have anybody in particular, or any group or in particular that you are not wanting to work with, or you want to be hidden from? So wits is 2. So we have a weak hit. Choose ones. We're gonna add +1 on our next move, not a progress move. Okay. So Zinnia says that there are many factions that would potentially want to use Zinnia as a tool and at their current level of maturity would not be able to protect themselves, which is why Zinnia was acting as if they were a black hole for the past, well, I mean, it's been what, 50 years. So in the case of Zinnia, that's a blink of an eye, right? So Zinnia has been around long enough to know that the people on Neoma Station can be trusted, but the people that Neoma Station works for are not trustworthy. It's a good question. So Dr. Ozric looks and he says, are you talking about the Atwell Industries, or is there somebody else or something else? And Zinnia says that there's information on the station that would prove what Zinnia says is true. Hold on, please wait. So you see Zinnia, Zinnia begins shimmering, maybe like little pulses here and there, little pulses here and there. And to move things along, because I'm going to take a -1 on this, I'm going to have a suffer move. Actually, I should have taken a -1 on that too, but it was still okay. I mean, we still had a weak hit, but so take a suffer move, -1. Zinnia says, James Atwood, take a look at your screen. And what does James see on the screen? James will see James sees a video call or a video exchange on the screen between two people. One of them looks like Achilles, and the other one looks like the captain of the Colossus. And about that time, so James plays the video, and what he hears is the flashback I think we heard, but there's a little bit extra. And what you hear Achilles say is, I managed to send the information I had to Atwell headquarters along with the telemetry and logs, and they've discovered that this is not a black hole. And I need you to do what you can to keep Ozric and the Deliverance away from Jaffa 2, from sharing this information. And that message was dated 45 minutes ago. So what does James do at this point? Because this was sent out over, Dr. Ozric heard it. Ozric's like, that snake, I knew I couldn't trust him. Dr. Manon didn't like him either. James says, we've we've got to get off this ship. How are we going to get the hell off this ship? And where are we going to go when we do that? We still have to outrun this ship, and it feels like there's no way we're going to outrun this ship. So what I want to do right now I want to make a progress move. I want to make a progress move. I want to ask the Oracle, but I want to envision two options here. So we're going to try something new. I haven't tried this before, so we're going to envision two options. I need to get, I know that because of this message, it's going to be unlikely that we're going to be able to get off the Colossus without some kind of assistance. What are we going to do when we get there? Do we go back to Neoma Station and let Evelyn know? Or do we let her know over the radio? But if we do that, we could be heard. Or is there a second option? Could we go to Zinnia? Could we go to where Zinnia is? And James will ask Zinnia that. Can we go to where you are safely? Zinnia says, that is possible, but there is some risk. I can't turn off the gravitational effects of the cloak for what you call it, the camouflage. So there is some risk of your ship being damaged or you not surviving without some sort of, controls. So James, rate one as likely and roll below to see if it's true. If it's not, it's the other. So I think James is going to attempt to go to Zinnia because James feels that would be the safer place, considering Zinnia was able to bring down Neoma Station and cause the power drain. And unfortunately, that was a side effect of damaging Dr. Manon's suit and killing Dr. Manon. But he could also potentially disable the ship that the Colossus. So what they need to do now is, let's see, James is going to roll, and I would say all right, so we're going to two options. Rate one is likely and roll on the table below, see if it's true. Oh, shit. I'm going to need to burn some momentum if I want that to be true. Oh, no, I'm sorry, 75 or less. So 75 or less, so we just beat it. So James says, yes, we should go see Zinnia. Zinnia will, based on our conversation here, Zinnia is the good person, or the good people, the good thing in this case. And if Neoma Station caught wind of what's going on, it could jeopardize everybody on that station. So James says, we need to get off this ship. So how are we going to do that? So they're steaming further away from Xenia, the substrate, if you will, the computing substrate. But James asks, can you cause the same thing that you caused to the wild deliverance? Why did you cause us to leave like that? I mean, why did you damage the wild deliverance like that so that we couldn't leave? And Xenia says that they knew if the wild deliverance left that there would be no one that would be able to stop Atwell Industries from forcibly taking control of the area. And in their current state, they're unable to do much about it other than keep the camouflage up. They think that Dr. Ozric and Dr. Manand were making sure that they felt Dr. Ozric and Dr. Manand were people that they could trust. So, Slick, James asked Slick to come up because she's still working on the engines back in the back. And James and Dr. Ozric and Xenia, the AI, hatch a plan to find some way off the ship. It's going to require, release of the docking clamps. It's going to require some way to get out of the hangar bay. And it's going to require some better than average piloting roles to be able to get to Xenia. So James says, let me talk to the captain of the Colossus and see what we can do to, maybe I can get him to release us and, we can all head back to Neoma Station acting like nothing's happened, nothing's went wrong. Maybe we can play stupid and, they'll let us go. So James contacts the captain of the Colossus and says, Captain, thanks for the jump start. We have our systems back up and running again. I think we can take it from here. I think we'll go ahead and take our trip to Jaffa 2 without you, let you head back and do patrol duty for the station. And the captain says, I think it's going to be highly unlikely. I think it's going to be like an unlikely chance. Yeah, so it's unlikely. Captain says, no, I think we'll be safer. If you get disabled again and you're outside of our range, then you'll be drifting in space for a while, because obviously the captain's been told by Achilles not to let them go. But James, let's see, James is going to compel. I think it's going to be we're definitely doing some gaining ground bit, but I think we're going to see. I could have made a discovery. That would have been great. I could have tried that. I think what James is going to do is okay. So per rank of the battle. So I think there we go. I think we're that much closer. I think we've hit our vow. The only thing is we've got to clear our name, right? So we found Dr. Manand's killer. Unfortunately, it was Xenia trying to communicate to Dr. Manand outside the station caused the suit malfunction, which I can actually put that here. to communicate with Dr. Manand. Causing her death. Final progress box. LP to present the evidence of their innocence to security. Okay, so there we go. James brings Slick up to the cockpit, obviously, and says, we need to be able to get out of here. Captain's not going to want to give us the ability to let go. And do you have any ideas? And Slick says, does Slick have any insight? Does Slick have insights to that? We need to secure an advantage. Between Slick, Dr. Ozric, and James, I'm going to give them a +1. No, I have to do a -1. So they're kind of on the back foot here. So we are going to roll wits. It's going to be a -1. Oh no, wait! I already did the -1 with the caveats. So, oh god, that is terrible bad. That is not good. That is a weak hit. Okay, so we succeeded, but it's not going to be good. It's going to require potentially additional rolls, but Slick says, well, when we were analyzing the message, they gave us access to their computer system. We could attempt to control the systems or hack into their systems to disable the docking bay or release the clamps. But it's going to be, we're going to have to, get lucky here. So, to the fray. I think I'm going to try enter the fray, but I'm going to do it from a combat point of view. So let's see. When you initiate combat or forced into a fight, envision your objective and give it a rank. If the rank combat includes discrete challenges or phases, set an objective with a rank for each. All right, so because we have, so let's break it down. So we have computer access. So to do certain things on the network. So being in information security is kind of funny. I'm going to be doing some hacking stuff here. So we have computer access. So this should be a troublesome issue. Okay, and then being able to gain additional permissions. This is a high-tech ship of Atwell Industries. I want to say it's going to be formidable. It's going to be a formidable issue. It's going to take a little bit of doing. And once we release the docking clamps, so once we get the permissions, the idea will be we've gained enough permissions to release the docking clamps and to disable the ship in some way. So we'll say that. So docking clamps and disable the ship. Disable the Colossus. And that's what's making it formidable. Maybe, so maybe we'll accomplish one or the other, but not both, potentially. So depending on if we can do one or both, actually, so maybe the docking clamps are dangerous, and maybe the disabling the Colossus is dangerous. Because what does disabling Colossus mean? Turning off life support? Does it mean disrupting the power systems? You know, that kind of thing. Also, we should take stock of who we have available. So Zinnia may still be able to make some kind of, impact here, that we can probably use Zinnia as our ace in the hole if they could, if we're still close enough to send a burst to disrupt things. That may be our ace in the hole where we could use that if we need to. And then, of course, there's going to be piloting roles. So because once we get away, then we're going to have to navigate to Zinnia, and that will be, I would say, also formidable. So there's a lot there that could go wrong, right? And maybe Zinnia has, maybe we can ask Zinnia if there's a safer route, or if there's we can analyze how we can get there. We can do things like, analyzing routes, analyzing gravitational eddies. We don't want to try to, we're going to avoid, all kinds of stuff. So and we can use each people's, skills, right? So Dr. Ozric still has access to the computers. Slick is good at engineering, so something happens, we can use her to get the docking clamps open. She knows shipboard systems, so she should be able to make that happen. Zinnia might be able to work some magic or work something to disable the systems as well, or to interrupt the systems. So yeah, all right. So envision your objective, give it a rank. All right, so I would say, yeah, this is going to be formidable, and the different areas, computer areas, gaining permissions, docking clamps, disabling Colossus, and piloting roles. So this is going to be a formidable thing. So there's going to be multiple issues. Let me see if I can Control C, Control V. All right, so, and not to make this an iron goal or anything, but what we'll do is we'll make this lock this in place, and the goal is going to be escape the Colossus and head to Zinnia. All right, and that is, there we go. All right. So let's see, we're going to need to, step 1, hack the Colossus computers. And that will be, so right, and we need to be formidable. It's going to be formidable, okay. And what's it? Formidable is how many squares? Let's see. Move asset gallery, gameplay, and depth. Launching your campaign. I think that's what we want, right? Choosing your truths, building and starting your adventure, gameplay, and depth. Session moves, exploring the depths, quest moves, connection moves, fate moves, principles of play. Let me see. So, yeah, could have used these oracles as well. I didn't have those available for me. Sector names. Okay, so I'm missing some play kit. 239 to 241 scene challenges. Okay, so this is what we should have been using here, the scene challenges. 239 to 241 for scene challenges. Okay, this is the first time I've done this, so, but it's the same thing, right? Troublesome. Okay, so but there's a box here for this, so let me just go ahead and grab the bit. There we go. All right, and we'll just pop this down here on the system. There we go. I'll remember to have this next time we do this. So very, very similar. All right, let's lock this into place. There we go. And this square. Okay. 239 to 241. All right, so. Oh, I see, because they're doubled. So. 239 to 241. There we go. All right, so setting a campaign clock. So the forge does not stand still as you undertake sworn vows. You get campaign clocks. All right, so I haven't read this part very deeply on the system, so probably would help if I had done so. But all right, so let's see. Completing a campaign clock. All right, so give the clock a name that makes it clear what project or is complete or event is triggered when the clock is filled. So we've done that. So escape the Colossus and head to the Zinnia. Then decide the number of segments as appropriate to complexity and duration of the activities. North Star Syndicate, attempt to squeeze out. It's not exact science, but you can equate segments of the clock to the number of gameplay sessions or chapters before it triggers. Oh, okay. That's not exactly what I'm looking for here. Scene challenges, here we go. So when you have a clear advantage, troublesome. Okay, so we do have an advantage right now. We're ready to act. Or you're unprepared or outmatched. So I would say I would say this is somewhat formidable because we are outmatched. If this ship is able to intercept us, I don't think we'll be able to, handle that. Then activate a force segment tension clock and face danger or secure an advantage to take an action. Okay, so we have 4 bits here, and I'm gonna just get real dirty with the filling in of these things. So it's just gonna be real ugly. So we've done 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. So check boxes probably would have been easier in hindsight. Yeah, so we could add shapes or lines instead, maybe. Can do that. All right, so making your moves. So we're gonna face danger, secure an advantage to take action, scene challenges, use a variation of these moves, detail on the next page to resolve your actions. Choice between the 2 moves is a narrative and mechanical decision. Face danger is reactive, used to avoid threats and overcome obstacles. Secure an advantage, proactive when you're using resources, abilities, or expertise to prepare or gain leverage. But there will be situations where either move is valid. In this case, consider your intended results. Face danger is focused on building progress and pushing the scene to a conclusion, while securing an advantage builds momentum and extends the scene. Facing danger is riskier since a weak hit means dialing up the tension by filling a clock segment. Okay. All right, so progress move when the scene challenge tension clock or track is filled, or when events lead to the scene's conclusion. Roll the challenge dice and compare your progress. Okay, all right, so, oh, right. All right, so, where's the thing I had? Okay, so, yeah. right, so doink 2 docking clamps, release wild, release the ship, and then 3 disable the Colossus. And it may not be possible to do all these things, so we may be left with something that doesn't, allow us to do what it is we need to do. And then successfully escape to Zinnia. Okay, so all right, so in the scene challenges, there we go. Working with allies, right? So we can also aid your ally to contribute to a move another character is about to make. So in this case, it'll be like we're gonna take our James's, aiding the ally, and Slick may be attempting to release the docking clamps. I can help, or James can help aid the ally and make it a better roll. So. Okay, so facing danger. So you attempt something risky or react to an imminent threat with a scene challenge. I would say we already have an advantage because we already have access to be able to analyze the information on the ship. So we already have computer access to the Colossus. Yes. Yes. Okay, so that is going to be where we're going to stop, and then we'll have if you're interested, come back and check us out. We'll probably do something this weekend, the 7th, and we'll continue on where we left off. So I'm going to go. Dinner calls. So as you'll see, I'm fairly not formal about this, fairly informal. So this has been a good session so far. I think I've learned a little bit. I'll be doing some more information and reading up here, and hope you had fun. I'll put out a VOD that's a little more crisp on this, which it won't be an hour and 24 minutes. It'll probably be about an hour long because I've got some, stops there. So hope you had fun. Tell people about us, and, hope you have a great day, and take care. Bye, everybody.